I have my board all set up for Vampathon. We will be playing Pin the Fang on the tombstone. I'm going to be spinning around in circles like that childhood game, Pin the Tail on Donkey, and wherever my fang lands, I'll be picking a prompt to read for. Let's just get right on into it. I'm doing this without any help, so I could get dizzy. I gotta go until I lose direction. That's a camera. So this direction. Oh. Oh! A good one! We got read a book in the dark. I just gotta pick a Kindle read for that one. I started The Serpent and the Wolf last night. It's gonna be my Kindle read, which means I'll read it before bed and in the morning. Those are like the #1 places I read the Kindle, which all happen in the dark, in my cozy little bedroom, under the blankets. This is a new fantasy romance that is coming out next month, and I'm not very far into it. I'm probably about 15%, which is probably 70-ish pages. So far, I'm really enjoying it. We've just gotten set up, but I like what we've gotten. We're essentially following our main character, who comes from a very cruel domain. Her parents, the king and the queen, have passed, and they have left her to her brother, who is going to be the next king, and he is very, 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 very not nice. All of her life, she has made a deal with her father. If I am helpful, you will not sell me to someone for marriage. And so she's been helpful. She thought that this deal would pass down to her brother, but her brother has different plans for her and marries her off to a cruel other nation with one of the cruelest lords possible, which she finds kind of confusing because her brother has always tried to get anything that could compete for the crown out of his way by whatever means necessary. Women can't take the crown in this world, so she wasn't competing for the crown until she got married, so she always thought as long as I don't get married, I'm safe from him. But then he sells her off to someone to get married, and she's like, what is going on? But she thinks that maybe he thinks that her new husband will kill her when he finds out about the curse she has in her blood. She's got some magic. Well, turns out her new husband is not this big bad dude. He's actually like very soft, and I like really enjoy him. He is like a cinnamon roll, I think, at heart, and he's had some really good moments of banter. I feel like she is grumpy and he is the sunshine, and it's working really well for me. Their moments together are hilarious. There is a one bed scene where it doesn't end up being like the one bed trope, but like it's such a funny comedic relief scene in my opinion, and so I really liked that. But essentially, when he finds out about her magic, he makes her a deal because he needs a loving and willing wife. He needs someone to put on this like farce saying like, we are united, because in his nation, unity is like seen as a really good thing. Like a happy husband and wife are seen great, and he's trying to win an election. And she needs to find out about her magic before it kills her, and he says, I know about your magic. I actually know someone who can control it, so let's make a deal. I'll help you, you help me. So they're in an arranged marriage, but like they also have like a deal going on and are helping each other and are reluctant allies. And I'm liking the setup quite a bit. I feel like there's some politics at play with her brother, who is obviously going to be a bigger part of the story at some point and stir the pot a little bit, but also with them and his court and her having to play this part of like a happy wife and things like that. But like really so far I've just loved their moments together. I feel like those have worked really, really well for me, and I'm hoping they continue to work. I'm gonna eat my breakfast, which is a cinnamon apple muffin. My mom made them for the first time. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a child at heart, and I only eat chocolate chip muffins. Sometimes I'll eat blueberry muffins from Tim Hortons that have like the sugar on top. Those are good. But I'm excited to try these, but not sure if I'm gonna like them. But let's take a smaller one. Here goes nothing. They're okay. Not my favorite muffin, but definitely something I would eat. Like if someone offered me one, I would say yes, but I don't think I would like order one from a place, if that makes sense. Next on the docket is To Work, when all I really want to do is play Baldur's Gate 3. I played that for the first time last night, and I'm torn between whether I like it or not, which means I just want to play it to figure out if I like it. I just feel like it didn't tell me how to play, and so I'm kind of confused about a lot of things, and if I figure those out, I could really like it, but if I don't figure them out, I'm gonna hate it. I'm just gonna get frustrated at the game. I wish it had a better tutorial than it does, specifically about the combat. It taught me nothing about the combat, and I feel like that's the part of a video game that is not innate for me, that I really have to learn. I just want to play it so that I can figure out if I like it or not, but I need to do some worky work today. And then maybe I'll reward myself with some video game playing. I do stream on Twitch, so I'll link that down below if you want to hang out with me while I play some games. You're getting a little editing casty here because I realized I never said the Vampathon is created by Jody. I will leave Jody Vanilla Moon's channel down below. I recently found her channel through Vampathon. Tori shared Vampathon and I was like, what is this? And then I was so excited because I found a new channel that I'm obsessed with. I love her reading vlogs. So definitely go check out Jody's channel. And Vampathon happens every single year at Halloween. So if you miss this year, you can participate next year. But also, I love participating in readathons late or early. So like, if you want to, you could still participate in this just a week later. I have decided to do one more spin in order to get myself an audiobook. Let's see how that goes. I'm so dizzy already. How many spins do I need to do? Oh god, that's a bookshelf. A horror book! That's a good one. Oh my, I'm so dizzy right now. The world is spinning. But a horror book! For this one, I think I'm gonna start Ghost Camera by Darcy Coates. It's a little horror novella and short story collection that I've been wanting to try. Darcy's one of my favorite horror authors, so I think I will like this one, which means it's, I think, a pretty good pick. And it's really quick. I think I'll be able to finish it today, which is really exciting. And the audiobook is on Everend, which is also really nice because then I don't have to buy the audiobook or try to search it down anywhere. This follows our main character who finds a camera, and when she takes a picture, she can see ghosts in the picture. That's all I really know about it. I just finished the title story in Ghost Camera, and honestly, I felt so mediocre about this one, which is so sad. I will say I listened to the audiobook. I inherently like books better when I read them physically. I can still love an audiobook, but I do find that physical reading works better for me normally, and specifically Darcy Coates, I do find physical reading works better. I refuse to give up audiobooks. They just work really well for my lifestyle, and I still love audiobooks. Some of my favorite series I read in audio format, The Poppy War being one of those, and I love that series. It's one of my all-time favorite series. So it's not that I can't love audiobooks, it's just that I find when I make time to read physical books, I'm really in the mood to read, and that's why they work for me a lot better. Even if I had read it physically, I don't think I would have loved this one. It just felt a little bit lackluster. I feel like nothing really happened. Can you not? Someone was drinking my water. It just felt a little bit lackluster to me, and it felt like very cozy. This is one of her first written stories. She does say that in the little introduction to the short story collection, and it felt like that to me, but it also felt different than what I've seen from her, which I did like. So I'm a little bit like mixed feelings on this. I think I'm gonna give that first short story 3 stars. It was okay, just nothing amazing. I'm excited to see what comes from the next short stories because I think it's 2 other novellas within this collection and then 2 short stories, so there's 5 total stories. And I've enjoyed a Darcy Coates short story collection before, and like any short story collection, there's some wins and some not wins. It's just like kind of what happens in these. So I will update you maybe when I'm done, but maybe if I'm just like obsessing over a story, I'll update you again as well. Good morning, actually afternoon. I'm here to tell you that I made progress in both of the books. Ghost Camera, I think I have 1 story left in, and honestly, I am feeling just underwhelmed by this short story collection. Not that any of them are bad. I feel like I'm giving them all 3 or 4 stars, but there just hasn't been like that 5-star that Darcy can get me with, and that the other short story collection by her I have read had a few of those, and so I feel like I'm comparing it to that short story collection, which is making this one feel like not as good to me. My favorite story so far is the one where they're at the lighthouse. I thought that one was really interesting. I really liked that one and seeing what happened. And then my second favorite is the one I just read, which is about a husband and wife and what the wife is doing and like closing the blinds and things like that. If you read the collection, I think you'll know both of those stories. I'm trying to be vague. I think I have 1 left. I could have more. I could be wrong, but we'll see. I can't really see myself loving this collection just based off 1 more story, but I'm still intrigued to see what's about to happen in it because Darcy is known to shock me at times. Our other pick, The Serpent and the Wolf, I'm also really vibing with. I actually didn't get out of bed until about 11:30 today. Typically, I get out of bed at 9. I like to start my day at 9. I wake up 7:30, 8 o'clock. I read in my bed for an hour and a half, and then 9 o'clock I get up. I get ready and my day starts. Today though, I just wanted to keep reading, so I didn't get up till 11:30, and I think that says a lot about the book. I keep comparing it to A Court of Silver Flames and Valaris in my head, even though they are nothing alike, and I really shouldn't be comparing. There is this like urban city setting in this that's very joyful and like has dancing in the streets and they're partying at night. So that just gives me like Valaris vibes. But Valaris is not the first urban fantasy at all to do those things, so like that's such a disservice to this book. And then specifically A Court of Silver Flames, because we have a main character in the story who came from a cruel upbringing. She has dealt with this cruelty through anger and hatred and kind of acting out in this new scenario as she is welcomed into this like world of happiness and love and respect, and she has to try and deal with her trauma and her emotions. She doesn't really know how to deal with it without acting out. And in order to help her deal with it, she ends up finding a group of girls, a coven that she trains with, and they help her experience love. A Court of Silver Flames does that so much better in my opinion. A Court of Silver Flames is a unbeatable book for its mental health journey and what Nesta goes through in my opinion. Like, I should not compare any single book to that because no book can live up to A Court of Silver Flames. So I feel like I'm not trying to do that. Like, I'm not trying to say these are one for one. I just see the similar aspects, and there are things I liked about A Court of Silver Flames and I'm liking them as well in this book. Reading this is actually making me want to reread the ACOTAR series. I feel very comforting reading this because of the similarities, even though they're nothing alike. I feel like people are gonna be like, oh, you're saying these are alike. I'm not. They're just similar characters and similar, which they're also not, because Nesta's an angry mean girl that I love so much and relate to, and this girl is not, but like she does have some of that like grump and anger in her. So like they're nothing alike. So please don't think I'm saying they're alike, but this is just like the familiarity in these stories is connecting me to each other, even if it's just like these small little details. I do think that this one is a lot more political heavy, and our main character is smart. I cannot say the same thing about SJM girls. She is not going to be fooled. She is going to help her partner along. I'm loving their banter. I'm loving the politics at play so far, and I can't wait to continue reading. I don't think this is gonna be an all-time new favorite book, but as it's a debut, I believe, and the start of a series, I'm very excited to continue reading and watching the story grow and change and evolve. I think it has a lot of potential. I did finish The Serpent and the Wolf, and I'm giving this book a 3.5. I actually really debated on whether I should give it a 4. I really enjoyed this, and that really honestly surprised me because there's a lot that I feel like this book could have done better, but a lot that it did really well and that had me engaged in the story. I think especially for a debut, I was kind of blown away by the writing and the concept and the plot. The plot really kept me going. Like, I need the sequel. The ending of this was phenomenal in my opinion. Like, I need to know what's about to go down, what's about to happen. I can definitely see this author getting better with each book, and I feel like we're at a really good starting point. But I think things that it could have done better is its characters. I really actually loved our main character and the love interest. Every other character in this book is kind of flat, and there was so much potential for them to be better, specifically her bodyguard. I would have loved to seen some training scenes, to have seen them interact more, to have this loyalty that we get at some point during the story. I just wish we had built upon that on screen instead of just being told. I think at the end of the day, this book does a lot of telling, not showing. But overall, it still worked for me because I enjoyed the politics and the concept. Do I know how the magic works completely? No. Am I okay with it? Yes. It's a witch story. Like, she is in a coven. She is a bloodline of witches. And I did think that, like, each coven having different rules to their magic and different gods that give them the magic was really interesting, and I liked how our character's magic came to be and what happened within her bloodline, how they got their magic. I thought that was really unique and really interesting. But do I know everything about how the magic works? Not at all. I feel like we could have done anything and I would have been like, oh, okay. Like, I feel like she was more powerful than she probably should have been. But at the end of the day, magic's innate, and I feel like with witches, innate magic is just a thing that you kind of have to accept. It's typically why I don't love witches stories, but I really did enjoy this one. I feel like this didn't fall prey to a lot of typical fanro tropes that are really going around right now. It had an arranged marriage concept that I really liked, and not even that, it had like reluctant allies to lovers because they got a deal together and they worked on this deal. It kind of had some fake dating aspect of it that I really enjoyed, and I just overall enjoyed this. I just feel like some things weren't as strong. It got a little repetitive. The middle part was a little little bit too long, although I think the book actually needed to be longer to give me more moments with characters, to make me care about the characters at the end. Like, even her best friend, I struggled to, like, care about. I cared about our main character and her feelings for her best friend, but not the best friend herself. And I feel like a good book makes me care for all the characters themselves. Like, I don't want to see that character hurt because I don't want to see that character hurt, not because the main character doesn't want to see that character hurt. I don't know. I think as a debut romantasy, this is pretty freaking good. I also like that it leaned into the fantasy. It did a good mix. Like, I feel like the romance is blended into this political storyline so well. You cannot have one without the other, but a lot of times I felt like I was reading a fantasy book, not a romantasy book. I really enjoyed this. I cannot wait for the sequel. I'm very, very shocked by how much I enjoyed this. And now on to Ghost Camera. I still have one story left. I actually was wrong, and there's been a few stories since last time I checked in. None of them have spoken to my soul very well. However, this last story that I'm in, I'm loving, and I think this could be a 5-star story. Good morning. I swear every single time I come up here to film, the cats start eating. Probably because it's my first time up here during the day, and so it's also probably their first time up here since like 5 a.m. So they're hungry because they just like free feed all day. But it's really annoying when you're trying to film a video and there's always crunching because their bowl is like literally right behind this couch. Hopefully you can hear it. I have my eggnog latte because I just woke up. Coffee feels so necessary this morning. I technically hurt my ankle 2 days ago. You've seen me since then, but I don't know why I didn't talk about it, but I pulled something in my ankle literally just stepping down. We have one of those living rooms that's like sunken, and it used to have a step, but the step was right where this couch is, and for like the vibe of the room, because essentially we had a step here, a door there, and a giant fireplace there, for like the function of the room to be a living room with a TV in it, we decided to remove the step. And so now it's like one big step instead of 2 small steps. And I just stepped down and my ankle rolled. I heard it crack, to be honest, so I'm kind of scared that I really fucked it up. And yesterday I kind of just stayed in bed besides the spin you're about to see, because I realized I still had to do 2 pin the fangs. So I did both of them yesterday, but I'm only going to show you one currently. But I just bed rested yesterday, and that just made me feel incredibly tired today. Like, I feel so unproductive, but my ankle does feel better today. Oh, on top of that, because my ankle hurt, I didn't cook dinner last night. I don't know if you've been following my vlogs. Every Wednesday we've been doing that I'm cooking dinner, and I've decided to cook a soup every single Wednesday. I like turned to my mom yesterday and I was like, I don't think I can stand on my foot and like hobble across the kitchen to make dinner. I'm so sorry. So she made dinner, but she did stick with our plan and she made a soup, and she made potato and leek soup. It was so good. I didn't think I was gonna like it. It was my first time having potato and leek soup. I typically like a very brothy soup. When things get a little bit chunkier in soup, I feel like they can be like baby food texture, and I don't like that. This had such a good texture. The recipe was so good. I'm gonna link it down below. 10 out of 10. I will be eating it again. We've just had such good vibes with our soups. I don't know if it's the recipes that we've been picking or like we just love soup so much, but like all the soup recipes so far have been so good. They are on my Instagram highlight. Follow me on Instagram. I post bookish things over there, book reviews. I've been doing like recommendation posts, and I do some fun reels as well. But yeah, the soup was so good. I'm happy that she stuck with Soup Wednesday because I've been loving it. So next week I'll make the gnocchi soup. We have our next roll to show you, so here you go. Enjoy me spinning. I don't think I talked a lot in this one because my ankle just hurt and I just wanted to get it over and done with. I need to do a spin, and I'm not sure how this can go because I really hurt my ankle. Okay, now that you've seen that, we landed on a gothic setting. This was absolutely terrifying. I thought about cheating and just like erasing that footage and doing another one. I truly did. But I'm actually really glad that I didn't. I ended up just like going to my Discord with my patrons and being like, does anyone have any recommendations? The only thing I could think of is Darcy Coates, and I've already been reading a Darcy Coates in this, so I didn't want to read another, or Two Twisted Crowns, and I'm hoping to read that in my next vlog, so I didn't want to read it in this one. Anathema would have been incredible for this. I read this in my last vlog and it's like the perfect gothic setting, and Mal reminded me of Carrie Lake because she had also just read one in her last vlog, a different one than I read. And so I was like, okay, well maybe I'll try another one of hers. So I decided to pick up Nightshade. The first chapter in this is intense in my opinion, and I wasn't sure. I was like, did I make a mistake? Is this gonna be too dark and tense for me. It is a dark paranormal gothic romantasy, and I haven't really been in the mood for the darkest of fiction these days. I've definitely been like enjoying some of my fluffier reads that are just like fun times. I'm pretty sure I'm overexposed in this, but it's too late. But as I kept reading, I got hooked, and I actually had troubles going to bed last night because I just wanted to keep reading. I got 100 pages in, and also this is a book about Christianity, kind of. Well, it's about angels and demons and the devil, and definitely has like discussions on Christianity and a more intense religion that is like made up in this. And the fact that it's about like the devil and hell and angels, and it's 666 pages long. Iconic, incredible, amazing. You know what you were doing, Miss Carrie Lake. But I just felt very invested into what's happening. There are two timelines happening in this. We're seeing an old historical timeline of a young girl whose mother was burned on the stake for being a witch, and this religious cult took her in and was like, you don't have to suffer the same fate as your mother, even though the demon has its little grips on you. We will take you in and we will cleanse you of your evils. But they really never let go of the fact that she was raised by a witch. So we're seeing her in that timeline, and there's like really creepy stuff with the cult and what they're doing. And then we're in a present day timeline following our main character, whose father researched into this cult like crazy, and when he died, she's kind of looking over his notes, and she never really believed him. She thought that he was delusional and kind of crazy because he always talked about this other realm called the Nightshade, and she was just like, you're crazy. Like, everyone kind of thought he was crazy by the end of his days, but like when he started, he was like a really well-respected researcher. And so we're following her as she starts to dive into her father's notes, and she's getting like creepy nightmares, and she's seeing murders that are happening currently, like while they happen. She's like dreaming them, and she starts to believe her father's research, and she's looking to find how to get to Nightshade because she believes that's where her father and maybe her mother are. I guess we actually have a third POV too. We have an angel's POV, a fallen angel, I guess, who is in the Nightshade realm. And I believe that those two are going to be our love interests, the fallen angel and like a present day one. But I wonder if there's going to be some like reincarnation trope or something happening within this. And that's why we're following, well, I think it's pretty obvious there's some sort of reincarnation trope happening. And I think we're going to follow them in their past, like maybe the first time they fell in love and currently, but I'm just predicting that that's not 100%. But I am honestly obsessed. I would like to keep reading. That's what I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna film my TBR. I need to do that because that goes up way before this video. So I need to film my TBR and then read. And maybe play some Baldur's Gate 3 either today or tomorrow. One of these days I will be diving back into my druid character. No! Leave me alone! They came so quickly. I'm gonna fucking die. There might be a change in sound from the last clip to this clip, and I'm so sorry about that. There's something wrong with my off-camera microphone that I need to fix. It could just be the battery, but I've tried a couple batteries, so I don't think it is. I think I'm gonna have to order a new one, which is fine. It just is going to be a difference in sound. That's fine. I actually used to film all my vlogs without it, so it should be okay. You just might notice a teeny tiny bit of a difference, and I'm sorry for that. But that means I've actually recorded 2 clips for this vlog that do not have sound because the microphone was not working. So I need to give you a little quick update on everything that's happening. I finished Ghost Camera. I'm giving the collection overall a 4-star. I enjoyed it. The last short story in the collection was easily my favorite. There was no 5-star standouts for me, but I think that might have been a me issue, not a story issue, because that last one probably could have been a 5-star if I had read it physically. I really liked where that story went, and I would have loved to see Darcy write a full-length novel about that concept. I think that she could do it really well. And I had 3 like standout favorites within this. They were 4 stars. They were good for me. And I think that there was no 2-star stories within the short story collection. It's really rare to have a short story collection that has only solid good reads, like reads I enjoyed. Like normally I'm giving out a 2 or like a 1 like within the short story collection. So I'm giving overall the collection a 4 stars, and I would recommend it. I think the title story story is my least favorite, I would honestly just tell people to skip that one. Read the other ones, because the title story, kind of lackluster, but the rest were pretty decent. So my favorites were the last one about the VHS tapes, the lighthouse one, and then the couple where she's trying to keep some things inside. And then I have made really, really big progress in Nightshade. I'm about 40% in, and I will say I'm still vibing pretty hard with the story, but I do think that it is a really easy story to like put down and then not pick up right away. I found that in Carrie Lake's other story as well. She's got a big focus on atmosphere, and it's something I really like about the writing, but also I feel like bloats the writing quite a bit, and I just don't think her stories need to be this long. I feel like they could get to the point a little bit quicker than they do. But specifically in Nightshade, I'm finding that I love our timeline currently. Like the present day timeline, I'm loving following that, and the past timeline, I understand why it's there, but I don't like love it. I feel like it reminds me of Vampire Diaries in the first couple seasons when you're getting like Catherine flashbacks, and I didn't love those either, but I understood why we got them to like understand all of our characters better, and I liked seeing the parallels between Catherine and Elena and the boys and things like that. So it does give me like Vampire Diaries flashback style. So if you liked those, you'll probably like that aspect of it, but I am finding that like I tend to put the book down in past chapters and I eat up the present chapters. However, Tori from Tori Between the Pages just literally released a vlog like yesterday where she read these two books in this series. The first book, Nightshade, was a reread for her, and then she read the sequel book, and she did say that the first half of the book has more of a focus on that past romance and the latter half had more of a focus on the present romance. So I'm expecting to love the latter half more than the first half, and honestly I felt that way about Anathema 2 when I read it. I just think that there's too much bloat, too much setup in that first half, and when we get to like the romance, Carrie Lake can write it so good, and I love the scenes of the two of them together. Like I actually eat those up so much. They are incredible. So that's my thoughts right now. Also, you missed now a clip of me last night when I played Baldur's Gate 3. I like actually recorded myself playing it as well, and I had a clip where I was telling the camera that like I cannot decide if I love or hate this game. Like this game frustrates me so much that I want to like jump. Like I want to just like wipe the game and have it never exist, but then I also just want to play it constantly. It angers me so much, and then it's funny because last night something happened that frustrated me so much in the game, and I just felt like I made all the wrong decisions, which is like not possible in this style of game technically, but because of the outcomes of what I chose to do, it made me feel like I picked all the wrong decisions, which really irked me. This is not like the most beginner friendly game, and I am just jumping into it as a beginner. Like I like video games, but I don't like actively play video games. Specifically this style, it's got very like D&D to it, and some of the D&D stuff really frustrates me. My character misses constantly because the roles that I don't get to do, like they just happen behind the scenes, and it just frustrates me so much. Like I kind of wish I saw the roles on the screen. I don't know. The game equally makes me want to never play another video game again and binge the entire video game in one sitting. So I don't know how I feel about it, but that's my life problems right now. Hi, we are just settling in to do some reading sprints on Lexi's channel for TBR Harvest. I am still making progress into Nightshade, but honestly, I just wanted to say that like finding your people is so fun, because this morning we just spent like 10 minutes talking about the Sabrina Carpenter Taylor Swift collab that happened on the Eras tour last night, and like last night people in my Patreon were tagging me like, oh my god, Sabrina just walked on stage. So I obviously went and watched the Eras tour like right away. Lexi also texted me about it, and I just think it's so fun that like we bond over one hobby and we learn that we all have so much in common, and just like finding people that you vibe with is just like such a fun experience, and BookTube has really brought that to me, having all these people. Like I talked to you guys about reality TV, I talked to you like in my Patreon, we're watching Dancing with the Stars weekly, and we're just chatting about that constantly and sending TikToks about that. We talk about Taylor Swift, Sabrina Carpenter. If you're a Kelsey Ballerini fan, let me know your thoughts on the new album. I definitely have some favorites. I just love life when I just get to chat about things I love with other people who like the things I love, and I think it's so fun. And books is like a main component of that, but obviously there's other little niche things we talk about here, and I just think that that's amazing. So thank you guys all so much. I am, at the time of filming this, I'm really close to 14k, and I just can't believe that. I hit 13 so so quick ago. So like this has been like an insane amount of growth for me. And I just like love you all so much. And I just like really appreciate chatting with all of you. And I had to let you know that. Anyways, I'm gonna read. I got my Beats working again after like years. I thought they were dead and I just charged them for 5 days straight and they finally turned on. Like I kept trying to charge them and I charged them for a decent amount of time and they wouldn't work, but 5 days did it. And I have a cute little Halloween cupcake to eat for breakfast with my eggnog latte because we still have eggnog. I feel like we have so much to catch up on. It's been a little bit. Not gonna lie, we had a pretty terrible past weekend. We did end up having to say goodbye to a pet in Nick's household this weekend, so it was rough. I'm doing okay. Everyone's doing as best as we possibly can with something like this. I've obviously gone through it this year. Oh my god, I promised myself I wouldn't cry. And I will say it made it easier for me because I had been through it myself to support my partner. Oh my god, I was not prepared to get deep into this. Okay, anyways, so we had a bad weekend, so I wasn't really vlogging at all, but I definitely made some reading updates. First off, I finished Nightshade and I have very mixed feelings on this book. I loved the present day timeline and I just found myself not caring about the past romance, that past timeline as much. I understood why it was there, but it just didn't work for me, and I really think that there is a bloating issue in Carrie Lake stories. I feel kind of similar to this as I did feel to Anathema. It just has so much potential and so much lore and rich world building that I really dive deep into, and I even really liked the romance in both stories. But my god, there's so much bloat and they do not need to be this long. There's no reason for them to be this long. Not enough happens for them to be this long. I truly think this one reads like a standalone. I wish that it had ended way before it did. There was 2 scenes that I think this book could have ended on that would have been so much better. There was 2 like pretty big reveals in the latter half of this. Personally for me, it would have been better if both timelines ended up on a reveal, which we do get. They like come together to be a reveal in like back-to-back chapters almost. And then that's where it ended and we led on to book 2, and maybe we made it a trilogy instead of a duology. Didn't end there. And then there was another thing that happens right at the end of the book that I was like, this would have been the perfect ending to leave me wanting more. But it felt like we weren't sure we were gonna get a second book, so we resolved it enough where it could have been a standalone. Like, yes, there is setup for another book, but I feel like the story that we got within this book is contained. I'm not sure I need to read the second book, which I know in Tori's vlog she also talks about, and so you should go watch Tori's vlog. I feel like we had very similar thoughts, but also she's continued on. So I will leave Tori's vlog link down below for everyone to check out. I ended up giving it a 3.5. I think I will continue into the second book and I will read more from Carrie Lake. There's something about her stories that I absolutely love at the same time of like not knowing if I love them. Like I feel like there's like love moments and then moments where I'm like, why are we getting this? It's really hard to like figure out how I feel about a book when I feel that way. So a 3.5, but I considered a 4 for a while because I did like the dark romance aspects of this. I did like the way it made me feel. I loved the world building. I thought that was so rich. So I will be recommending this. I actually have it set already on a recommendation list to go out sometime soon. So like I will be recommending this. I did enjoy it. It felt very unique. It's something I haven't read personally before with like the angels and the fallen angels, and the way it was done, I just feel like it was so freaking unique and I would love to read more stories like this. Thankfully though, going into the weekend, I had actually already done another spin. I actually knew what I was going to be picking up next because I got a lot of reading done this weekend. I was really there for a support system, so I definitely just read a lot as we were all just like sharing stories and stuff, or like we watched movies to like distract everybody, like things like that, and I typically had my Kindle out. But we did a spin, so let me show you my last pin the tail on the Fang spin. After spinning around in circles, I landed on a book to sink your teeth into, and this is the perfect time for me to pick up The Cruel Prince by Holly Black because I have been wanting to read this for so long. I think I'm going to absolutely adore this, and guys, I was correct. Between everything I was doing, I got myself pretty far into this book at 142 pages, which is 36% in. I picked this book up and found it really hard to put down. I obviously had to because of everything going around, but this is such an easy, bingeable read, and I am absolutely loving it. I feel like the character work that we are doing right now, the stuff we are setting up, is incredible. Like, I understand Jude's character to a T, and I also think I'm really starting to understand Cardan's character. I understand the court and the politics, and there's really cool world building with like the fairy realm and things like this. I have been sleeping on this series that everyone screams about. Like, obviously this is like a staple in the like YA to romantasy pipeline. And so I'm very excited that I finally got to it because I have a feeling that I am going to be eating the series up before the end of the year, and that it's going to be a new favorite of mine. I'm loving it so far. I can't wait to get more into like more moments between Jude and Cardan. I feel like we've only had a few at this point. Essentially in the story, Jude was 7 and her parents were murdered by her mother's old husband that she has a kid with, and he comes and he kills her parents and takes Jude, her twin sister, and her older sister that is this person's biological kid back to Fairy, which is the realm of the Fae. Since Jude and her twin sister are related to his child, he feels that they're his responsibility, and he takes these humans back to this fairy realm and he raises all 3 of these kids. And it's not very nice in Fairy for humans, and he kind of treats them like almost like they're Fae, but they can never be Fae, so they can never fully be treated like Fae, and it leads them in a really weird spot where they're not human enough and they're not fairy enough. And we're watching them struggle, and Jude really struggles because she loves Fairy, and although she could maybe escape and go home to the human world, she just realizes she would not fit in there anymore, that she is very similar to the Fae and their cruel ways. And there is Prince Cardan, who is a wicked son, and she has to defy him and get under his skin at every corner, and I'm really eating this up. I'm about to hop on TBR Harvest Sprints, so I'm gonna read a little bit more of this today, and then tonight I'm going to a showing of my sister to look at a new place for her to rent. And yeah, tomorrow's Halloween, so I need to get to reading. I'm behind on my reading plans now. Okay, you're getting a phone update, but I'm 50% into The Cruel Prince, and my heart is literally racing for these characters. Holly Black has done such a good job to get me just so invested. Like, I am feeling so tense. My sprint's up. See you back soon. I am literally just about to shower and get ready for bed, and I'm gonna curl up and read more in bed. I haven't read much more today, but my Illuminate box came in for Evernight, and this edition is personally stunning. So if you don't want to see October spoilers for Evernight, skip this little clip. I'm not gonna be talking about the book at all, so skip this clip. But An Academy for Liars by Alexis Henderson. Look at how pretty this is, in my opinion. Like, I think that is just a really pretty edge with like the reverse, and it blends so well. I love when a cover does that and it just feels like seamless. Like, this feels like such a seamless cover, so I really like that. But then we also have this naked book. I personally am not sure if I like this side, but this side with the doors open, this is so cool and pretty. And then we have like the spine again, which is, on my opinion, beautiful. But really, look at these end papers. Like, that is beautiful. And we have a different one in the reverse. Also absolutely stunning. I cannot wait. Well, I can wait because I actually didn't like House of Hunger by this author, so I potentially won't love this. But like, this edition made me really excited to read this. Like, really excited. Like, I love when I get a pretty book and I'm just like, mine. This actually would have been really good for like gothic setting, which I just read for, but I'll update you tomorrow on The Cruel Prince. Hopefully I'll finish a decent amount. I'm hoping to actually finish it either tonight or tomorrow morning so that this vlog can go up on Halloween. If it doesn't go up on Halloween, it'll go up this weekend, but I'm loving The Cruel Prince, so I should be able to fly through it. I see a series binge in my future, and the next vlog after this is my next series video, so perfect timing because I could just like binge in that video. A hot new bombshell has entered the 5-star mansion. Oh my god, I loved this. I loved every piece of this, and I'm so angry at myself for putting this off for so long. This fits with these as some of my favorite YA stories completely. It could rival Red Queen for my absolute favorite, but An Ember in the Ashes is also so good and I love it so much. But this first book was magical. I can't believe that I have been putting this off for so long. I thought I would hate it at one point. Like, I truly thought that this wouldn't have been for me, and then over the last year, as my romantasy has like really become a big thing, a big like piece of my heart, I knew I would like this, but I didn't know that I would feel so connected to it. I have no words. I don't know how to talk right now. I just feel like I could understand these characters so well, and obviously I haven't been through what they've been through, but in ways I could relate to how they adapted to things and how they saw things, and having her be a creature that was created by other people I think is like really something so truthful, because we are how we've been treated our entire lives and things like that, and like we act in similar ways to what we see, but then also having her like be a better person. And I loved this, and getting to know Prince Carden. I'm very, very excited for the second book with like the cliffhanger, because I knew that was what was coming, but it's still a cliffhanger, and I'm excited to see what the characters have to go through in book 2. I ate this up. I truly ate this up, and some of the quotes I put in my Goodreads review, 2 of them, because at one point she says, "I hate him more than all the others. I hate him so much that sometimes when I look at him, I can hardly breathe." And I was like, oh my god. And then later in the book, he goes, "Most of all, I hate you because I think of you often. It's disgusting and I can't stop." I loved their scenes together. I loved that they were, I feel like, very typical teenager, like picking on each other and things like that. I really, really loved this. If I had read this at 16, oh my god, it would have been my entire personality. It's gonna be my entire personality at 27. Also, like the foreshadowing in this book, like if you go through and look at some of like the most highlighted quotes on the Kindle, because it is on KU, which I love. You can see some of the foreshadowing that happens within this book, within her lines and things like that. Absolutely obsessed with this. Also, happy Halloween. I'm not dressing up. I have just nowhere to go. Last year I dressed up as Taylor Swift Reputation era at a family Halloween party, but I'm not really doing anything, so I'm just wearing a Halloween sweater. But if you dressed up for Halloween, I would love to know, because I love Halloween. It's my favorite holiday, and I'm kind of sad that I'm doing nothing for it this year. Because I work from home, I don't really have anywhere to dress up. But I'm very excited to see everyone's costumes. My families have all been sending their costumes because they have little kids, so they're all like dressing up and stuff and going trick-or-treating tonight. I love Halloween. It's so good. Plus, listen, people give you free candy on Halloween, and there's no family obligations on Halloween to like other parts of your family. Like if you have kids, you take them trick-or-treating, but like I don't have to go to a family dinner. I love that. I love my family, but mandatory family dinners with my side, with my dad's side, my mom's side, Nick's side, Nick's other side. Like, that's too many dinners for one weekend. I need time for myself. So like Halloween is just like the perfect holiday. Also, I get to dress up and be scary, slutty, whatever I want to be. Like, it's my dream. Like, I get to live a fantasy dream. That is the end of my Vampathon vlog. I loved this board. I had so much fun playing it this way. So thank you, Maria, who's one of my patrons, for this idea. My next vlog going up should be my next series vlog. So if you haven't caught up on episode 1, you definitely should go do that, because episode 2 is coming to you soon. I'm really hoping I can fit books 2 and 3 into that series vlog and complete another series. So if you want to watch me scream, cry, squeal about this, episode 2 is coming soon. If you want to leave me an emoji just to say you were here, leave me a unicorn emoji, and have yourselves an absolutely remarkable day.